The latest season of Man into the Wild begins. For amazing young women team up to survive in the wilderness. When thirsty, they nibble sugarcane. Grab an armadillo when you're hungry. Dozens of pounds of armadillos, roasted to eat, very delicious. The location of this challenge is the Columbia Wilderness. The first contestant is Kelly. She is a returning contestant from last season. 10 years ago participated in the first season of Swamp Survival. Sharks can't even take her. He later participated in the Amazon Survive Alone for 21 days. Have shown a very high level of survival. The survival score was 9.1. The second contestant is Gabe. She is also a returning contestant from last season. You can tell from her figure that she is a powerful young woman. The old father at home taught her many things and always encouraged her to do anything. She was a survivor on a desert island in the Philippines. It's easy to grab Lachio with your bare hands. Also participated in the Snow Mountain Survival. Gabe has a survival score of 9.1. The third contestant is Megan, a young woman of 40. The level of appearance is very impressive. The fourth contestant is Alice. She is a young woman of 37. What kind of playing is the show crew doing? There are 4 of these fierce young women in this episode. Where's the high guy? Are all the high people watching videos? I mean, the show crew got whacked for nothing. But 4 young women smell so good. I can smell it through the screen. The show set it up for a reason. Mostly to get Callie and Gabe back. Take 2 beginners with you. Well, it doesn't really matter if high's here or not. As long as the young woman looks high level, I welcome them as serious wilderness explainers. Megan found it very hot when she first arrived. She looks forward to her teammates. Megan is a biology teacher, usually like to play very much. What kind of excitement does she want to experience? Often discuss body analysis and structure with students in private. Such a biology teacher does not know whether people like it or not. She and Kelly make up a couple. They were very emotional when they met. The 2 young women met without feeling awkward. Although I'm happy now, but there's no match for a male teammate. The young lady teacher was more or less disappointed. The next 21 days, it's up to Callie to fly her, a young woman 5 miles away. Alice was also nervous. She is a model. She is also the mother of a child. He is very playful, but she's pretty. How did she convince her husband to let her do a show like this? Pretty girl and Gabe team up. This face didn't expect to team up with Gabe. I hope she's not holding Gabe back. 2 old hands. Each man carries a vase to survive. Each brought a basic survival kit. There's also the show crew that provides the lift and the fire rod. The rules are the same as in the previous episode. They survive as a duo for 10 days before reuniting. After the old man told the vase it was a team challenge, the vases were very surprised, because you'll meet more players. The 2 veterans have been to the Snow Mountain together before, this time back together for a challenge. They are also looking forward to seeing their old friends. Columbia lies on the equator. It's the hot and rainy season. That means it can be very hot and humid out in the open. Fortunately, there are many rocky caves in this area. Gabe and Alice walk and talk. Saw dry tinder on the road. Gather it up as you go. The sky had begun to overcast. It may rain for several minutes here, or it could last a few days. Kelly and Megan together. They saw the eagle in the sky. I thought of 100 ways to do it. Soon the sky began to rain heavily. Get drenched before you even get to your destination. Considering the possibility of flash floods, they chose to go as high as possible. And Callie and her girls are still on the grass. She saw a rock ahead of her. Decided to set up shelter there. Megan and Kelly are in the big rock area. This area provides safe shelter for bats and armadillos. Rock caves are a good choice for shelter. It reduces the time they have to build shelters. When they came to the rock, the cave was found to be very large. Although there is a natural shelter, but it's also a mosquito paradise. They find a flat position. We're gonna set up a shelter here. Kelly is very worried about taking the vase with her. While building the shelter, Kelly begins to collect firewood. And Megan's been wandering around. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm really here to make a vase. Kelly stopped by to explore outside. Put a pot of water back to boil. 5 miles away is the Gabe group. They are located near a river. There is also a large cave, home to small rodents and bats. This cave is more beautiful than Kelly's, and the location is very large. They collected many leaves to build a shelter. Gabe plans to stay here temporarily for 2 days. This location is far from the water source, so it's not an ideal shelter. No need to spend time building shelters. Their first step is to start a fire. Does Gabe know how Alice makes a fire? Owning a firearm is pretty simple. Once you have a fire, you can boil water to keep warm. At night, Kelly and Megan are sitting under the rock. This isn't even a shelter, is it? Megan was curled up on the ground, cold. Bats fly around on the rocks. You can't sleep if you're not used to it. Time to the next day. I stayed up all night and finally daylight came. Megan's in decent shape. I only slept for an hour or so, but it's nice as long as it doesn't rain. Kelly encourages Megan's resilience. It's only the first night, but the first night is often the most unaccustomed and uncomfortable. As Megan's mentor, Kelly is very positive about Megan. Next, they plan to explore the neighborhood, and Gabe's on this side. Their plan today is to find a new shelter. Now the cave is too far from the water. They want to find a cave close to the resource. Alice, this vase can only follow. Once again, they set out on foot. There are many caves nearby. Each cave has its own idea. Gabe thought it would be perfect, and the water is close. The cave is not very big, but the structure is perfect for human habitation. There are many kinds of trees around. They decided to build a shelter here. Kelly takes Megan to explore the neighborhood. I saw wild bananas. This food is a little sour but edible. A tree root is their food. I don't know if it tastes good. It was fun for them to chew on it anyway. Megan never wanted to let go of the vase. They were happy to find something to eat. Keep exploring the neighborhood when you're full. Their shelter was poor, but first find food to eat. On the third night, the sky began to rain heavily. Megan and Kelly, they had to rely on rocks to keep out the rain. The rocks overhead are not large, and the wind is blowing very hard. This ignition won't do anything to keep you warm. They curled up close to the rock. Tonight promises to be a sleepless night. Time came to the fourth day. It rains here almost every day. The cave became a curtain of water. Two young women also turned into Smoky Goku. They hid in the cave and didn't know what to do. Gabe wants to build a wooden bed here. Stick the Y-frame in the ground. Then they made a bed of sticks. After the plan was made, the work began. They cut wood very hard. You look like you're chopping up your husband. There are a lot of ants on the ground, but I'm more afraid of young women wearing red nails than ants. Saw the ants bite the knife like crazy. Gabe felt very surprised. Alice was moving the wood, accidentally bitten on the waist by an ant. It hurts to look at. Kelly and Megan have been hanging out. They don't even have a shelter. I've been wasting my time. There's a lot of dead wood here. Kelly gathers it back. We'll have wood to burn at night, but the wood is damp. It's a question of lighting it. Gabe and the girls collected the wood. Then they started building the bed. Gabe's building the wood frame. Alice weaves mattresses. Soon a wooden bed was built off the ground. This really improves the rest environment. Kelly has been collecting firewood. Megan, on the other hand, felt some discomfort. She felt dizzy. Maybe it's because I didn't get enough rest. Kelly suggests that she get more rest. I finally got a little brother. I don't know what I'd do if I left. Megan sat in the shelter and cried. She doesn't think she's fit to sit here and do nothing. I feel guilty right now anyway. Kelly thinks Megan might be hungry. She wants to find some food to make up for it. Something to eat might help. Kelly found a plant. Looks a lot like a jungle pineapple. It's just a wild pineapple, actually, though small, but it brings a lot of sugar and nutrients to the body. When Callie returned to the shelter, I saw Megan sleeping like a dead pig. She took out the pineapple. That's for lunch and dinner today. But Megan doesn't seem to have an appetite. She was afraid of wasting the 2 pineapples. Megan kept vomiting. Callie didn't know what to do for a moment, did she? Maybe it rained at night and caught cold. Naked in this environment, it must be easy to get sick. In the evening, it began to rain heavily again. Megan gets up in the middle of the night throwing up. Kelly is a little worried about Megan's health. There's a good chance he'll drop out. Why not boil a pot of hot water and drink it? Time came to the 5th day. The doctor came to examine her early this morning. I was vomiting last night. I had diarrhea again today. It's just pulling and vomiting. Anyway, the doctor finished examining her. I don't think this state is very good. The source of the illness could not be found for a while. Megan is still pregnant and has a fever. The doctor decided to pull her out of the competition for a checkup. It's been 5 days. One of the vases was taken. Callie as a mentor must be very disappointed in their ability to survive. Didn't make it to 21 days. Megan thinks it's a shame too. It's only day 5. Callie has to face normal time alone. It reminded her of the time her stomach took on Amazon. Gabe grouped this way. They began to look for food outside. If we don't find food, probably starve to death. Another vase. Kelly sees fruit on the palm tree in the distance. They decided to check it out there. I can't believe they actually found some fruit. They gathered up all the wild fruits they could eat, because this is their rare food. Palm fruit tastes like eggs. Not very tasty though, but it fills the stomach. Gabe wants to use the fruit to catch rodents. We haven't even done the trap yet. Started talking about how to eat barbecue. Alice was very happy to have this vase tricked by Gabe. Gabe taught Alice how to make a hunting trap. The basic idea is to build a wooden tower. When animals come in to eat, cover the animal inside. Such hunting traps can only catch small animals. Gabe's gonna try his luck here. I hope I catch some guinea pigs. At night, the sky began to rain again. Kelly is looking forward to the reunion day, so I can team up with Gabe. Callie's so high and lonely right now. Time came to the 6th day. Gabe's going to check out the hunting traps. See if you caught any protein. Their hunting traps have been triggered, but no prey was caught. Gabe thinks they got away. Alice feels very interesting. This vase has a positive attitude. Gabe reset the trap. There are a lot of mosquitoes here. Bite Gabe is covered in bags. The trap isn't set yet. They can't stand mosquitoes anymore. If we don't leave, we'll be sucked to a mummified corpse. The time came to the 7th day. Kelly said early on that she didn't like to eat too much. That's a word that gives crocodiles nightmares. Finding something to eat and drinking and liking it are 2 different things. She found a colony of rock bees nearby. This bee is small, but extremely aggressive. Kelly didn't dare pick the beehive with her bare hands. She pulled out a spear, attached the knife to it, decided to cut the hive down in the distance. In the morning, he said he didn't like to eat too much. Now you see a beehive and risk your life to get it. That's a woman's mouth. Deceiving ghost. She was standing a meter or two away. Use the knife to cut the honeycomb. I didn't expect to find an army of 1,000,000 ants. This is a symbiotic relationship between ants and bees. They protect each other. After Carrie's stabbing spree, finally found the honey she wanted, even though it's the size of a booger. But Kelly ate it very sweetly. She couldn't even put it into words. The time came to the 9th day. The merger is tomorrow. Things are going really well here with Gabe and the vase. I didn't think Alice would last this long. The jungle is a very difficult environment. It is not only humid, but also infested with mosquitoes. They're starving now, too. Kelly woke up suddenly in the middle of the night. She spotted something going around the shelter. It was an armadillo looking for food. But Callie can't catch it in the middle of the night, so I can only watch this fat piece of meat running in front of me. The time came to the 10th day. Today is the day of gathering. Gabe and the girls left in the morning. Finally get to meet an old friend. Gabe shit is really looking forward to it. Check the map before setting out. Very excited at the moment. They need to hike to a rendezvous point 10 kilometers away. Kelly is really looking forward to getting more resources. She wanted to bring some food before she left, because there are wild pineapples near Carrie. Kelly picked some to take away. She's really looking forward to seeing Gabe too. She set off with an iron pot of pineapple. Gabe and Alice each carried a stick. It's cloudy now. Lots of Lachio will be lurking in the grass. Be careful when you're traveling. 10 kilometers is not that far, but if you walk, can break a leg. In this wilderness area, there is no proper road at all. It's all on your own, one step at a time. They finally met several hours later. When I see the new young woman, Alice thought this was amazing. So many people naked together. It's a very exciting feeling. When Gabe and Callie met, they are also very excited. Kelly takes out the pineapple she has collected. Everyone was excited to have food. Survival in the snowy mountains. Gabe and Kelly are teammates. They ate delicious grilled fish. Kelly hopes to have a vacation life this time, too. Next up are two bigwigs with a rookie. To meet these two big sisters, young lady Alice just lay down in one. They are discussing the next plan. It's hot and rainy here. No ordinary shelter can keep out the rain. The best way is to go straight to a cave. Callie's shelter is just an arch, and Gabe's shelter is better. They decide to return to Gabe's shelter for the next challenge. I've never seen anything like this before. Came out to gather, and went back to the old shelter. I thought this episode was weird. It may be that the director arranged two big men to accompany their daughter-in-law to survive. I walked for a few more hours. They went back to Gabe's old shelter. At night, sure enough, it began to rain heavily again. Three young women were chatting in the cave. It's impossible to sleep at night. Time came to the 11th day. They wake up and they stay in bed. I gather palm leaves in the middle of the day. They plan to build a roof. These palm leaves are very large. One tree is enough for them. The sky was dark all the time. It looks like it's going to storm again. The cave can keep out the rain, but it drips when it rains. So they need to build a roof to keep out the rain. Hunting is not their survival strategy right now. It's about starving to day 21. With the roof, they went back to bed and slept in. As long as you're not starving, you don't go out and get something to eat. Time came to day 12. I was cold and hungry last night, but the three of them cuddled to sleep. As long as it's dry, it's warm. The three of them are wandering around here. Gabe saw Lachio on the road. This protein delivered to your door. If you don't eat it, it's wasted. Gabe pressed it to the grass. They got away before the knife was cut. It's really a shame. Gabe almost got his period out. They come here again in search of sour cane. This kind of food can only pass the mouth. Young women are known to love sugar cane because sugar cane is very thirsty. The young women took turns holding the cane and chattering. The juice is sticky and delicious. They looked at the cane. I feel like I'm gonna swallow it. Looks like they're really hungry. The young woman divided the cane into 3 sections. Everyone keeps talking. This is wild sour cane. I don't know if it's good. They were smiling from ear to ear anyway. I kind of regret it now, anyway. I thought 4 young women living together would look good. I didn't realize they'd been starving. If I'd known I was here to see them chew sugar cane, I should never have charged them $100,000 to cut it. The time came to the 14th day. Today they plan to make a hunting trap. One is doing. 2 men pass sticks. I really fell for this African assembly line. Can you imagine? It's a trap made by 3 young women holding sticks, and he took a palm fruit as bait. Gabe was hoping to catch a bird or a mouse, but this trap won't catch any rats, so it's bound to fail, unless the props team can help. The time came to day 15. They checked the traps in the morning. These young women have been starved to the point of collapse. Keep up the protein for energy. Kelly sees an armadillo. I can't believe I grabbed her. Some young women stuck the armadillo in a crack in the rock. Gabe grabbed the armadillo by the tail. Callie went to negotiate with a machete. Alice stood watching the vase. 2 big guys trying to get food. This armadillo is very big, but he met 2 fierce young women. Of course it's a dead end, as cruel and horrible as it is. But a young woman who's been starving for so long. I'm already licking my tongue. The armadillo gives them a hearty protein meal. Gabe thinks the trap attracted the armadillo, so this hunt was a success without a trap. This armadillo is very big. Should be a couple pounds of meat. Kelly is teaching Alice how to dispose of animal entrails. Teach her every time, you know? It must be hard for this young woman to look backstage. Gabe is collecting firewood, ready to start the stew tonight. The sky began to rain heavily again. They returned to the shelter and began to build a fire. We'll soon have our feast. But Alice wasn't very happy, because she is a vegetarian. If you don't eat meat, you'll be kicked out. So if this vase is going to eat this armadillo, Alice thought they were cruel. She was debating whether to eat meat or not. Kelly's iron pot is ready. Alice actually began to cry. Gabe made a bunch of kebabs. It smells very good. You can do it right here. It's best if you don't eat meat. Back at the shelter, she held a small piece of meat in her hand. Gabe and Kelly eat very well. Alice took the meat and put it in her mouth. I said I didn't like the taste. Kelly watched the young woman's embarrassed expression. I'll eat if you don't. Gabe took the meat and nibbled on it. I don't know how much I enjoy it. They suggested taking some meat to stew wild vegetables. Maybe that would be better. The young woman's nose can be seen as cosmetic. A normal one would be like Gabe. The time came to day 16. They lay down on the rocks to sleep. I really didn't know what the hell I was talking about. When they stand up and want to leave, Alice, a young woman, suddenly felt a little dizzy. Good thing Gabe was there to help, or he would have fallen to the ground. Good thing nothing happened in the end. I think it's a little hypoglycemic. This scared Gabe out of his wits. If you fall on a rock, the consequences would be terrible. In fact, this is the situation. Just two big guys flying around with chicken. Alice drank water every day to satisfy her hunger. This kind of wilderness survival brings us no value. The doctor came to examine her. Check for just one dizziness. This young woman should be the director's wife, or I wouldn't have asked two returning contestants to fly her. At night, Gabe made a pot of stew. Is that a pot of soup for the vase? Time came to day 17. Alice finally tried eating meat by herself. Vegetarians choose to eat meat in order to survive. I knew boundaries were made to be broken. Time came to the 20th day. The sky began to rain heavily again. Tomorrow is the day of the evacuation. Although it is raining heavily, but it doesn't affect their rest. Time came to day 21. Today is Will Idea Day. Go home and get a $100,000 bonus. There were no surprises. 3 young women made it to the evacuation point. So who will be back for the next episode? Look forward to an update in the next video.